Hello, everybody, or whoever's watching this. Welcome to my final in the anti-bullying movement. Um, I just I had a lot of interest in this after thinking about class and what we've been through in class. A lot of this kind of took me back to just seeing kids bully throughout my life by how they looked, how they talked. So I wanted to kind of dive in more to the anti-bullying movement and find out a little bit more about it and share it with you. So we'll start off first with the history of the movement. It was started out in Norway by Dan Olens, a Norwegian psychologist. He spearheaded the effort to better understand and prevent bullying. Why him? I asked. Well, he was a longtime school safety in the school safety and fundamental human rights movement. As early as 1981, he proposed enacting a law against bullying in schools so students could be spared repeated humiliation and implied bullying. So he was the first one to really jump into it, study it, learn the effects from it, and then implement actions for it. Let's see, next slide. Okay, hold on one second. All right, here we go. The program again was developed in Norway in 1983. Three adolescent boys in northern Norway died by suicide. Their ages ranged from 10 to 14. The act was most likely a consequence of severe bullying by peers, promoting the country's Ministry of Education to initiate a national campaign against bullying in schools. As a result, the first version of Owens, I can't pronounce his name, I'm sorry, Olin's bullying prevention program was developed. This program made its way into America in the 1980s through Clemson University and then some schools in South Carolina where it was first started or kind of implemented in America. And then it branched out to multiple schools and states throughout the years. What are some of the requirements of this program? School level components. They established bullying prevention coordinator, conduct committee and staff trainings, hold staff discussion, group meetings, introduce the school rules against bullying, review and refine the school's supervisory system, hold a school kickoff event to launch the program. So they're one of it's trying to get it out there to everybody. Classroom levels, post and enforce school-wide rules against bullying, hold regular class meetings, hold meetings with students and parents, continuously talk about the problem was one of his requirements. Now for the individual components, supervise student activities, ensure that all staff intervene on the spot when bullying occurs. And later in this, you'll see why that's such a big issue. Hold meetings with students involved in bullying. Hold meetings with parents involved in students. Deep individual intervention plans for the students. Again, this was back in the 1980s. This was started. Now this seems a little more what we're kind of doing, but back then no one was really talking about this. So remember, this was 1983 when these were coming out. Community level components involve the community members. Develop partnerships with community members to support your school's program. Help to spread anti-bullying messages and principles of best practice in the community. Again, this was back in the day, 1983. This was new to people. I'm sure bullying was going on all the time. Nobody probably knew what to do. Doctor kind of laid out this plan and really spent years developing it to help the youth. Well, how about us? How about in America? Well, the real big bullying problem and the anti-bullying movement really took off after the Columbine shooting in 1999. Most of you in the class were not born in 1999, but you've seen enough school shootings now in your lifetime to know about it. Again, this was the kickoff of the anti-bullying movement in America. The beginning of the movement in 1999, after the school shooting at Columbine, anti-bullying programs sprung up in and around schools. The tragic event seemed to give way to the movement, which focused on fixing the environment around victims, no longer putting the weight of the burden on the victim. To combat bullying, anti-bullying laws and policies were introduced, and teachers focused on empowering bystanders, policing classrooms and hallways, and punishing and reforming the bullies. Well, Georgia was the first state to put into legislation anti-bullying laws. 1 month after the tragedy at Columbine, the state of Georgia became the first state to enact anti-bullying law. Georgia's laws include bullying that occurs at school, as well as bullying that may occur elsewhere, but affects those in the school. They also require schools to implement anti-bullying lessons into the curriculum. Again, this was in 1999. Not a lot of people or schools were even doing anything of this. First one was in Georgia. California first to enact laws. By 2003, 15 states had enacted laws to address school-related bullying. The development of legislation was a significant milestone in recognizing bullying as a distinct form of violence, requiring individual attention and response. The state of California was the first to enact cyberbullying legislation in 2008. Since California addressed cyberbullying, many other states have followed the lead and implemented cyberbullying laws of their own. Here's a few list of states who have laws or policies. Just policies, no laws. Montana, I think that just changed. I read something about it. So now I think all 50 states or 51 states have mostly laws or policies in them for anti-bullying. Okay, here we go. What we kind of learned in our class this year was about race, ethnicity, national origin, and we didn't really talk religion, but race and ethnicity. Big time. People get bullied big time for this. I've seen it growing up. So I probably still see it today. There's comedians who still joke about this. It's out there, but it does affect people, and you need to realize it when it's happening. The reasons for being bullied reported most often by students include physical appearance, race, gender, disability, religion, and sexual orientation. This is big right here. Bullying behaviors motivated by racial bias harm the physical, psychological, and academic health of their victims. Race-based harassment and bullying places youth of color at a greater risk for depression, substance use, and truancy. Again, it's what we learned in our history of our country, that we pretty much bullied anybody who didn't look white. Again, here's something more recent that's been going on with the Asian American and Pacific Islander during COVID. They have been reported bullying and harassments by classmates because of their race or national origin, including their ethnicity, ancestry, and language. I mean, that's absurd. You're going to school with kids who might look not like you, and then you're blaming them for some sickness, some disease that they have nothing to do with. So that was a big thing I was kind of paying attention to during COVID. As I was coaching, there were attacks going on for Asian kids around this community, and I had to have a talk with my team and told them that you might be subject to this out there in the community, and if something happens to you, you need to defend yourself and report it. Again, minority students often more likely to be bullied. Okay, remember this. This has some good info on this slide. I'm at 9 minutes, so I'm trying to speed up a little bit. How to prevent bullying. Big part here. Ready? Parents, school staff, and other caring adults have a role to play in preventing bullying. They can help kids understand bullying. Keep the lines of communication open. Encourage kids to do what they love and model how to treat others. You can pause that and take a picture of it and write it down. Stop bullying on the spot. That's the biggest thing you can do when you see bullying. You stop it on the spot. When adults respond quickly and consistently to bullying behavior, they send the message that it's not acceptable. Wherever you are, if you're at work, school, walking down the street, step in. Research shows this can stop the behavior over time. There's simple steps adults can do to stop bullying, and there they are. Stop bullying on the spot. Again, here's some things to avoid, right? Don't make the kids involved apology or patch up relationships on the spot. So there's some things to study here. All right. You're not a bystander, you're an upstander. An upstander is someone who takes action when they witness bullying. Please, everyone who's seeing this, be an upstander. Remember that. Here's a little video you can watch on it, being an upstander, and it will teach you what to do. Anti-bullying movement. Okay, before we end, there's a few more programs out there that you can take a look at that I thought were pretty great. Born This Way Foundation. It was created by Lady Gaga, who we love, and her mother in an effort to encourage people to be themselves, not what others want them to be. They focus on youth and spread information about kindness, love, acceptance as keys to ending bullying, which is great. Stomp Out Bullying, another great one, and the Kind campaign. I encourage you to go follow up on these, take a look at them, Cal. They will, I think you can help more people than you know out there, Cal. All right, just a few little quick things. Not all superheroes wear cape. Be an upstander, everybody. I had a great time in this class. I've learned so much. And then the one biggest thing I've learned is to speak up and to use your voice and not lose it. Whatever you see out there, if you don't agree with it, step up and say something. Thank you, everyone who watched this or listened to this. I appreciate it. And have a great time in school and do great. See ya.